Welcome back to the tutorial course on Android app development. In this section, we will discuss intents. The next slide introduces you to intent. Intent is a messaging object that we can use to request an action from another application component. For better understanding, let's take for example Activity A and Activity B. When we want to communicate between Activity A to Activity B, we can use an intent. In the next few slides, let's look at the use cases for an intent. There are three fundamental use cases of an intent. 1. Start an activity. An activity represents a single screen in an app. We can start a new instance of an activity by passing intent to the start activity method. The intent describes the activity to be started and carries the necessary data. 2. Start a service. A service runs in the background without a user interface and performs operations in the background. By passing an intent to the start service method, we can start a service for one-time operation, such as download a file. The intent describes the service to be started and carries the necessary data. 3. Deliver a broadcast. A broadcast is a message that any app can receive. The system delivers various broadcasts for system events, such as when the system boots up or the device starts charging. You can also deliver a broadcast from one app to the other app by passing an intent to various methods, such as send broadcast, send ordered broadcast, or send sticky broadcast. After understanding the use cases for intents, in the new slides, let's look at the intent types. There are two types of intents, explicit and implicit. Let's look at each one of them. Explicit intents specifies the component to start by the fully qualified class name. Since it is easy to identify the class name of an activity in our own app, we will typically use an explicit intent to start a component in our own app. For example, when we start a new activity as a response to a user action, or we can start a service to download a file in the background. Let's now look at implicit intent in the next slide. Implicit intents. An implicit intent uses a general action to call a component from another app. For example, if we need to show a map within our app, an implicit intent is triggered and a general action to call the map from another app occurs. Let's look at the process of implicit intent. As the first step, an activity, Activity A in this example, creates an intent with an action description and passes it to the start activity method. Then, the same searches all apps for an intent filter that matches the intent. Finally, when a match is found, then the system starts the matching activity, which is Activity B in this case, by invoking the onCreate method and passing it the intent. This brings us to the end of our discussion on intents.